And that sort of goes into like the whole tariffs and subsidies and all the type of regulation that we sort of got to at the end of the first part. But to start, I wanted to reiterate on the pyramids or the Greek monuments or Eiffel Tower you had mentioned too. Like those things seem frivolous and grandiose and wasteful in their nature, sort of when they're being built. But the aftershocks of doing things like space exploration, and it reverberates throughout the economy in so many ways that we can't foresee. And it's because we can't foresee it that it makes it valuable. So the value isn't in having a pyramid that just stands there. I mean, that is valuable, especially to like places prone to sandstorms where you need to find direction and whatever. Like it's great to have a giant pillar that says, "Hey, your big city's over here."
Was the lighthouse at Alexandria, for example?
Yeah. So,
a good example of that.
There's utility to them as a society, and even if we're not all seafarers ourselves, sitting on a boat hoping to find land in a storm, we should all be able to appreciate the fact that there are people on boats who ship our goods, and we do want them to not capsize. So that's the type of thinking we need to have when we start regulating markets. It's not to see personal gain or benefit. It's imagine if we were building a city and trying to make as many people happy as possible. And not just happy as in the happiness sake. I'm saying like their needs are provided. So as long as we have things like homelessness and poverty, in a country as rich and well educated as Canada, just as an example, for our basis of comparison, I think it's really nonsensical to overlook the long-term benefits of building monuments, because just because it's not apparently obvious or evidently obvious to us in the moment that space exploration might not have any benefits until we actually do it. Likewise, we develop maths to plot and landscape or to survey land. And we develop methods for leveling out blocks and carving out structures, and we develop tools for moving heavy objects, cranes for lifting, which again gets back to the whole leverage thing. Because a crane is essentially just a lever that's put on a giant post that can hold a bunch of weight, right? You put a counterweight on one side and it lifts an arm up and down so that it can carry other things on the other side.
Two of the massive, seemingly frivolous projects that we've seen in the 20th century come to mind. The moon mission and the space program being one of them, and the Manhattan Project being the other, which both contributed greatly to our understanding of the world, the universe, and contributed a lot of small things that we take for granted every day.
Like the CERN project.
And yeah, the CERN project is one of them. And the CERN project and the space program especially were seemingly frivolous expenditures of money that produced something that was of not immediately evident good. But it wasn't just, let's see if we can build the biggest army on the planet and we can march it around and they can use it to destroy stuff. The benefit, like my job at the coffee shop of an army, gives no after benefit other than employing a bunch of people. But something like the space program, CERN, or even the Manhattan Project, even though it was used to explode people, was also, these things produced
very good that most people could afford.
Right.
And everybody needs affordable luxuries, in my opinion.
That these things brought secondary benefits because they weren't just solving an immediate good. They brought all these other things that you were talking about. But even if we create a park in the middle of a city, you're employing all these people to create a park, but that park is still productive. It creates a space where people can go and unwind. It's not immediately evident. So if you create a park and everyone around it gets to use it, and then it creates well-being, you get a nicer area. You go move away from, I guess, what was it, the broken windows theory of economics, where people will be less likely to engage in the economy if there's broken windows and looks like a riot went through there. But if you beautify things, people will be more inclined to do it. So the benefits are you get a more relaxed populace, you get a populace that gets to see beauty and therefore is more psychologically stable. And then from the myriad things of that, but at the same time, people are more likely to invest there because they have the security of knowing that this is a place that a park is able to be maintained, and therefore I could probably maintain a business in that area.
Yeah,
if you
it
see
serves
broken
as kind of a
windows, you're gonna
symbol
be
of
like,
trust in the market.
Exactly. So you have an edifice like a park, but then you also have a monument like it's not really a visible monument, like the space program, or something we did as a society in the West that benefited us and gave us a direction. And to take it cynically misses the entire point. To just say, "Oh, we're just doing that because the Soviets." It's like, well, that's one of the reasons, and yeah, the Americans won, and
yeah, I'd say it's just as absurd
if
to
you
take
can't,
it absolutely too, right? To say that like this is worthwhile just
Mhm.
because it makes me money is also absurd because money to
Yes.
beget money to beget
Yes.
money is, yeah, it's pointless.